How's it going, everyone? This is Yxlarb, and welcome back to my Forza Motorsport 7 series. It has been a couple of weeks since our last upload, and for those who don't follow our Facebook page, which you should if you'd like to be informed of this type of thing before, it sort of blindsides you like this, is that I was studying for, and ultimately today, taking the MPRE, which is one of two exams that prospective attorneys need to pass in order to be licensed in the state which they wish to practice. So all 50 states in the United States require the passing of the MPRE, which I believe stands for Multi-State Professional Responsibility Exam. It's basically an ethics exam. And I'm sure you guys aren't terribly interested in all the nitty-gritty details, but like I said, I took it today, November 9th. You guys are seeing this video probably a few days after that. But now that I have that, monkey off my back, I can come back to YouTube without the added stress of worrying about the MPRE. So, yeah, there you go. Anyway, in this episode, as you could probably tell by the footage thus far, we are going to be driving a 1997 Honda Civic Type R, aka the EK9, which naturally is one of my favorite cars of all time. For those who don't know, I am a Honda enthusiast. I drive a Honda. I own a Honda. A Honda was my first car. In fact, I still own my first car to this day. And this upcoming January will be my 10-year anniversary with the car. So it's a pretty big deal. And actually, that is why I've decided to use this car in today's video. My car is a 1996 Honda Civic sedan. And I'll actually post a photo of it right now, just so you guys can take a look at it. As you can see, it looks fairly similar to this Type R. Of course, it is a sedan. There was no Civic Type R sedan for this particular generation. And this being Forza, they're not gonna, include the 100 horsepower stock sedan version of this amazing car in the game. So if I want to, quote unquote, use my car in the game, I have to use this car. This is the closest I can get. And that's what we're doing today. I'm, in a way, using my car in real life in the game, at least as much as I can, because this is definitely a different type of car. It has almost twice the power, completely different suspension. It's a different chassis. It's a hatchback, obviously. Mine's a sedan. But this is as close as I can get, and this is just a cool little tribute for my car that I've had for almost 10 years now. And I'm going to make it look as much like my car as possible, and then we're just going to take it into a race. That's what we're going to do. That's the whole purpose of this video. Now, the first step, of course, is to paint the car, but this is where you run into problems. I've actually, ever since Forza 4, been attempting to replicate my paint color in real life, which is known as Cyclone Blue Metallic. It hasn't been used on very many Hondas, but it's pretty prevalent on my model, especially for sedans in the United States. The problem with it is that in this game, you just can't make it shiny enough. So what I do to get it as close as possible is I go, after some experimenting, I go to basically the edge of 0.51 on the hue, leave the saturation at 1.0, and then brightness down to 0.29. And now this, it doesn't look like it very much here, but once we go out into the sunlight, you'll realize that it's actually pretty close as it can be, I'd say. I mean, maybe someone with a little more patience who is willing to experiment a little bit more could get it closer. But this is what you can get. Now, you can get the hue, and the shade basically exactly right. Like, if you compare this to my car, it's pretty close. The fact that it's a video game still limits it. It's not going to be exact. We're not... God, what kind of place does that? We're not Lowe's here. We're not here to paint match exactly. But the problem is you can't add, like, a metallic layer. Like a layer of fleck, as the kids are saying these days. So it's never going to look exactly right, but this is as close as we're going to get. And so we're just going to go ahead and save that. But I'm also going to go ahead and add some window tint. Not quite limo tint, but, close enough. I don't know if that actually looks very different at all. But we're going to go ahead and save that. And actually, oh no, I forgot to do one more thing. And that thing was to make my wheels white. And as you can tell, this is like pretty close to the stock color anyway. But this way, whenever I change the wheels, it'll be, white automatically. The new wheels will be white automatically. So that's what I want. Now we're going to go ahead and upgrade it. I was contemplating whether I should make this into like a full-on beast, like build it to be as fast as possible, and just like within reason. But then I was like, no, it won't be that much fun to race against Ferraris in a car like this, which has a very low top speed overall. It's going to have high handling, but to most courses we go to that have any sort of straightaway, I'm just going to get dominated. So I'm going to keep it within its hatchback class. But I'm not going to homologate. I know it's faster, but I just kind of like to go through and do it myself. So that's what we'll do. So, of course, tire compound has to be street. For those who don't know. Right there, it tells you what you have to do to maintain eligibility in this division. So it's saying you have to have street tire compound. So we'll upgrade to that. Boom. Upgrade our lateral G's. Tire width, of course, we're going to do that. We can go up to 255. Can't even do that on this car, so we're just going to go to max tire width. Front. Do we want to go... Why can the rear be wider? No, we're not going to do that. We're going to keep it the same. That's probably even a little bit of overkill, but we'll leave it at that. The wheels, fortunately, the wheels I have on my car, which, by the way, do not exist in this game. There are a couple of Rota wheels in this game, but not the ones I have. I have Rota Grids, Rota Grid Sports, as they're called in some contexts. But they are based on these wheels, Volk TE37s, which are very popular wheels and very beautiful wheels, and they are basically the exact same thing except genuine and much better in that regard, depending on who you ask. So we're going to go ahead and buy these. Lower our weight a good amount and just, look 10 times better. The wheels I have on my car are 16-inch, so we're going to go ahead and upgrade these to 16s. Although they do look a little bit bigger in-game. Maybe it's just because of the tire specs. The tire specs are different than on my car. So 16s look a little big. I mean, not too big. I think the 15s look pretty good in this game. They kind of look like how my 16s do in real life. But we're going to try to keep it as genuine as possible. Now, another thing. I thought maybe I made this clear, but maybe I didn't. My car is not fast. My car is pretty close to stock. I do have some performance parts, but I'd be lucky if I'm making 115, 120 wheel horsepower. This car is making 60 more horsepower than that as is. I'm not trying to replicate my car fully. I'm just trying to make this car look as similarly to my car as possible, but then I'm just going to make it into, the proper track beast that it should be. So I'm not restricting myself to real life here. I'm just kind of doing whatever I want. And we're going to take a look here. Our remaining limitations are 300 horsepower and a class ranking of 450. So as long as we don't surpass 450, we'll be good. I'm not really going to go for power. I'm going to go for basically everything else. So let's just do that. And of course, we're going to do it within reason, as always. We're going to go ahead and upgrade the clutch. Take a tenth of a second off. Our shift time. Would this be too much? No, that wouldn't be, actually. And take another 10th plus off. That's good. Plus we're saving some weight. Low weight is a perk of this car and a lot of old school Hondas. So that's why we're gonna keep taking it off. That's how we do it. Plus taking weight off is almost the exact same thing as we're just gonna leave the diff alone. It doesn't really matter. I'm not gonna do much tuning, so no need to spend the money. Speaking of spending money, this is actually the first car I've bought in game. I haven't bought any other cars. I've just unlocked them through, leveling up and from the the Forzathon and all that. That's what I've been doing, honestly, because I figure why spend the money if I could just get them for free, and I have been. My car, I'm not gonna put the drift kit in this front wheel drive car. My car is lowered. I have coilovers, so we're just gonna go ahead and lower our ride height down. It's not too low. My car's not too low in real life either. I'd say this is about spot on, kind of like a battle stance type thing. Of course, we want these. Of course, we want some anti-roll bars. Keep that weight going down. Increase our lateral G's. Let's see. Roll cage. So this actually will decrease a little bit. That'll add a lot of weight. But it will help out in terms of weight distribution. Plus, it'll keep our ranking pretty low. So we'll have to overcome that. I don't know. Let's come back to that after we see what weight savings does. Like, see, right now, if we went all the way to weight savings, we would surpass our class. So let's do this. So that when we take the weight out, will be better. Lateral G's up, weight distribution better. That's good. And now let's see, can we go all the way? We still can't. But honestly, okay, so now the weight distribution is 59% and 1.14. What would happen if I went to here? It would take off our weight considerably, make us go up 1 rank, and take off 47 pounds. I think that's a no-brainer. Might even go to this one. Because, I don't know. I don't think the stiffness is that worth it in this case. Let's see, that's 1.13. That's still 1.14. So this would be better. I'm just going to go all the way down. I'm going to go down to street, to the street variant. Now let's see. Flywheel. Can't quite get it. Intake is too much. I can tell they're going to make me work hard to get this 450 because basically every performance part is going to exceed what I'm doing. Alright, here's what I'm going to try. I'm going to get that sport flywheel on there. And now we're going to go in and try to change this up. Oh! So right now we're at 451. Oh yeah, we just take the roll cage stuff off completely. That's good. I mean, sure, you know, I had to spend some money getting these, but I have over $1 million bucks. I'm good. So there we go. That's what we've got. So let's recap, shall we? We haven't converted anything. It's still front-wheel drive, non-boosted with the original B16 motor. I believe this one was still a B16 and not a B18. So 1.6 liter is what it should be. Stock aero, upgraded tires to street compound with 235s in the front and rear, upgraded 16-inch TE37 wheels. Drivetrain basically as upgraded as it can be. Platform and handling, same story aside from the roll cage. And then no power upgrades, actually, just flywheel. So we still have the stock 182 horsepower. So there we are. Now let's take this car into some sort of race. Alright everyone, this is what I decided on. We are going to be going to the regular Nürburgring without the added Grand Prix circuit. 12.93 miles, just one lap, one very simple lap. And we are doing it against 23 drivatars with their difficulty setting at Pro. So that's pretty high. Of course, I am using this car, but I'm just showing you that it is a part of the Hot Hatch Icons division. And we are racing within that division. So even though, you know, it doesn't have a particularly high, top speed, that's true for most of the cars in this division. It's also true that most of them are all front-wheel drive and whatnot. I mean, in fact, you could look at this. I think these ones are... I think the RS was all-wheel drive. I always get it confused with the ST. I'm pretty sure the RS is all-wheel drive. The ST is the one that's two-wheel. And then, you know, you got... Oh, here are the Forza editions. Look at them. Way too wide. Way too wide. But that's okay. To each their own. But anyway, honestly, now looking at my car in the sunlight, the color is very similar. It's still missing that metallic look. You know, it almost looks like my car looked before before they applied the clear coat. That's like the difference of shininess. But what are you gonna do? Limitations of the game. It looks close enough. The wheels are on point. The front end is pretty much on point, aside from the headlights and the badge. But whatever. I digress. Let's dive on in there. And actually, one more note. For some reason, in this division, with this class of car, it's even at the pro difficulty, it sets you up really close to the front. I mean, it sets you up, like, I think 3rd place or so, and that's a problem. I don't want to be that close to the front. I want to be passing more people. That's part of the difficulty, I'd say. If you're not having to pass a lot of people, there's not as much. So I'm just going to dive off the track at the first corner onto the left side and just let a few more people pass me, and then we'll get back on from there. So yeah, all right, getting ready to dive bomb off this track for strategic purposes. Look at the car while in the sunlight. Step on the gas a little bit actually to not slow these guys behind me down too much. Just let them go for it. I'd say 8th place would be a good place to be. But yeah, from this angle especially, it looks just like my car. Okay, that guy's blocking everybody off. So I guess we're going to stick with 6th place. I'd say that 6th place isn't a bad place to be. I'd say it's fair enough. Especially since it's the front people that are going to give us the most trouble. So let's just see. So a quick disclaimer, I haven't driven this car around this track since Forza Motorsport 4 was the newest motorsport title out. So that was like, what, 2011, 2012, something like that? It's been several years, so it's probably going to give me a little bit of a challenge, but I'll see what I can do. I don't imagine I'll have too many issues. Just got to take it a little bit easy. In a front-wheel drive car, you got to keep yourself composed. Well, that's true for any drive car, but it's not really as easy to just kind of tackle the corners as hard as you want. Goodbye, Forza Edition. It's way too wide. It's just not as easy. You know, it's like you don't like go into a favorable kind of drift where it's technically slower, but it's fun and you can be aggressive with it. With this, you don't have that option, really. Oh, please let me get on the inside. Yes! He recognized that I was there. And now we've moved up into 4th place. When we come up to a corner, I famously go off at like 50% of the time in like GT cars and non-race cars, but I didn't that time because I took it very cautiously. We'll go down a second here. There we go. Could have been a little more aggressive through that corner, but I think we're okay. I wonder how this will do in a straight line compared to these other cars. I mean, I seem to be holding my own here, but we haven't really hit the big straightaways or anything like that. There's definitely much more coming up. All right, let's see. Can we take you on the inside? I'm not going to risk it. I don't want to go off the track. I don't want to cause an accident. Plus, there's no real rush. I mean, we seem to be doing really well. Even with, you know, minor mistakes, not totally efficient driving. We're doing just fine, so there's no reason to really go for the dive bomb of the century if we don't need to. When we're near the end of the lap. Maybe I can start considering that. By the way, I apologize if I do have a couple, you know, small... Oh, come on. You didn't have to make contact there, buddy. You could have given me the space. I'm not backing off either. You know? Even though it was slower for me to take the dive bomb there, I wanted to punish him, so... But yeah, I do apologize for mini coughing spells. I probably can't even call them coughing spells anymore. It's just a few coughs. But actually, during this 2-week hiatus that I mentioned, that you guys have experienced, I happened to have a cold basically the entire time as well. So it was actually the perfect time to take a hiatus, because I would have had to anyway. I was like, okay, well, while I'm sick, it's a perfect time to be studying for the MPRE anyway. So, breaking a little early. We know the AI, no matter what difficulty you put them at, are notorious for breaking too early. So, might as well break early yourself. Let's see, this could be a good place to take him. I really fucked that one up. I accidentally pushed in the clutch instead of the gas. I accidentally pushed in the clutch rather than the brake there for a second, so it wasn't very optimal, and I carried too much speed, and I just totally screwed myself over. That wasn't a great overtake. Maybe I should punish myself somehow. I don't know, but we are nearing first place. This is pro? Like, what the heck? See, this is maybe why I should test these, you know, races ahead of time, because if this is pro, I just don't know. Like when I'm playing the story mode with just like 2-lap races or something, and I play on pro, I like get owned almost all the time, unless it's like a GT style race or a touring race. I don't know why I'm having such an easy time, a relatively easy time in this case, but we'll see. Maybe we'll let, you know, someone pass us here sometime soon to up the ante a little bit. Maybe we'll crash. Maybe we'll crash, and then it'll be fair. There we go. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that top speed, man. It's so fast. So fast. Not gonna go flat out through here. Not gonna do that. I almost did too, and it totally would not have worked out for me. So I'm glad I didn't do it. Maybe to... Wow, I'm really getting ahead of them here. Maybe to make it a little better, I will... What do they call this? The carousel. Maybe I'll go wide here and just kind of take the slower line outside the carousel and just kind of see what that does for me. That's, of course, going to make me go slower than anyone else in this corner. But it doesn't look like it affected me that much. Okay. I don't know. I just have a problem, guys. You might know this about me. You might have been able to tell this just by watching me all these years, if you've been around for that long. I have a problem purposely going back a position, like being like, oh, you know what, I'll just go off the track. Fine, I'll do it though. I'll do it. Ooh. You see, that slowed me down, but I'm still a good amount ahead. Plus, I don't want to lose the race, you know, so let's see. It might be a good spot to go off here. Oh, no, never mind. This isn't the spot I thought it was. But we will find places to do it. Plus, you know, I have to win. This is like a tribute to my car in real life. I want to win. By the way, here's actually kind of a cool thought I had when I was younger. I mean, it's not something I'm seriously considering too much anymore, but it was a thought I had when I was younger, like in high school when I first got the car. I was like, you know what? I love this car so much. Of course, I loved it so much because it was my first car, but to this day, I still love it. It might still be because it's my first car, but I've just grown to love it in many different ways since then, so I think it's deeper than that at this point. But the idea was to ship my car around the world and to go and to take it to every like big famous racetrack, including the Nürburgring. I was like, it'd be so cool to do that, and I still think that'd be cool. I don't think it's very realistic. I mean, unless I end up stinking rich for some reason. Well, I shouldn't say for some reason. It could be in the cards for me, depending on what kind of law I go into and, you know, how successful I end up being and, you know, all of that. But even then, you know, you're talking a lot of time, still plenty of money. It wouldn't be very realistic. But that's a cool thought, to take a car you love to every racetrack and race it around it. That's just so cool. It'd be so cool to go to the Nürburgring. I've obviously never been there. Or maybe it wasn't very obvious. I have been to Europe a couple of times, but never for racing purposes. I would love to go to the Nürburgring at some point, though. Definitely would love to try that. The car's getting really filthy. Oh, God! I'm gonna crash. Yeah, for not having driven on this track with this car in several years, I've honestly performed pretty well. And even by screwing myself over on purpose at times, I have just dominated the competition. Absolutely dominated them. Like, they don't stand a chance at winning. Like, they're way back there. 4+ seconds behind. Alright, well, I set them the pro. I gave them the chance. And they didn't take it. They didn't take it at all. So, what are you going to do? We're in top gear here. Actually, we might have a 6th gear because of the upgraded trans. Let's see. Yep, we do have a 6th. And it wasn't that slow to transition. Still way ahead, so. There we are, guys. This is a nice little tribute to my car. Assuming we get first place. Oh, it's a close race, so honestly, who knows? This is not a touring car. Don't wait too long. It's a street car, still. It might have some race car capabilities, arguably, but here we go. Let's end on a high note in first place. That's what I like. Oh, yes. Drifting front-wheel drive. That's what's up. So there we are, guys. That was, you know, fairly anticlimactic, but it was still fun. It was still fun to take this car around the Nürburgring. It's always fun to do that. It's fun to take any car around the Nürburgring. Honestly, I'd say it's definitely my favorite track in all the Forzas. Well, actually, maybe I liked not Suzuka. What was it called? Fujimi. Oh, I love racing on Fujimi in Forza 4. I don't know how many of the games had it. I don't know if it was there in the first game, first through the fourth, but I don't know why it still hasn't come back. I hear people talking about it all the time, how they want it to come back, so why not just bring it back? It'd be a ton of fun. Oh, well, what are you going to do? Anyway, guys, I have some kind of bad news to share with you. It all depends on how much you love this series. I'm actually planning, at this point, to have only one more episode air after this one. And that is planned on being a collaboration with Bosniancheese again. We're not exactly sure what we're going to do yet, but that is the plan. Reason for cutting it, you know, off at this point? I mean, no real reason. I just, you know, because it's an unusual series that doesn't really have a definitive endpoint. I can just sort of end it whenever I feel like it. And just with the way, you know, the semester's been going, things are going to get busier from here. I have final exams to start thinking about, and I might have to move sooner than anticipated. I mean, I'm not going to talk too much about that yet because I'm not sure. Once I'm more sure, then I can talk more about it. But I just have all these concerns. So I'm thinking, it'd be a good time to end the series rather than, having a long break and then coming back and then ending it, just out of nowhere. This way, at least you have some idea. It's like, hey, there's still an episode coming out in, a week and a half or so, and then that'll probably be the last one. That's just kind of the thought. So if you really love this series, I'm sorry, but because of my love of cars and my love of Forza, you can almost be certain that I'm going to have more Forza gameplay at some point. If not Forza, then another racing game. I mean, it's almost certain that I'm going to have more racing gameplay on this channel in the future. So please do not fret. But anyway, thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it when anyone takes time out of their day to watch me play a video game. I really hope I entertain you enough to entice you to come back constantly. And it's just great. It's just great fun. I feel like if I'm having fun, you're having fun. And if that's not the case, I'm sorry. I'll try to be more fun for you to watch. But I will see you all in the final episode of Forza Motorsport 7 on this channel.